Welcome back, everybody. Solo run tonight on a different server. See how we get on. This is very vanilla-esque. Vanilla with extras, basically. I know where I am. I had to have a bit of a monitor move around because we're only down 2 screens, so chat's back where I want chat to be, which makes sense. Actually, I just need to just alter that slightly. So I'll get a bit more chat box, that's better. So I should be able to see when you guys type, which is useful. And you should be able to hear the game for me fine. But we are on 2 screens, which is really strange because I'm used to having 3. But I've had my main monitor and backup monitor die on me today. So don't have that luxury at the moment, unfortunately. But that's a solo run today. See how we get on. I said it's a different server. It's very vanilla with added extras, keycard rooms and some edits. No map. And I don't know what else because I haven't really had a run. I just came on, made sure it worked, and that was it. I've no idea what we're walking into. A normal thing, we'll check the various locations. Try and get some fishing on, gear up, and then venture inland. See if we can find any trouble. There are people on the server, but I get the feeling they're probably not used to a wild goblin turning up. I had a choice of a couple of servers tonight, and this is the one that won. Came in pristine, that's good. We're coming into night time. Joy. Don't know how fast their nights are on here or how dark they are. So we might be stumbling around in the dark for half an hour. Be an interesting scenario. Water bottle. We'll allow that. And we just need a fishing rod. We're good to go. Gone for about 3 hours tonight, is my aim. I might have to switch servers, but that's the aim. I had to reinstall DayZ as well as losing 2 monitors, so it's been one of them days, really. But we're installed now, we're running got it where it's sort of where I want the monitors. Seeing I'm missing a monitor, can't really warrant buying another monitor yet. So I'm going to have to live with two. There is a third monitor that I probably want to buy at the end of the year when it comes out, which is an under monitor to move OBS onto, or Discord, but not yet. Or we might end up setting up the laptop I've got and running Discord via that and having it tuned into OBS virtually, because then that would work just as well. So I've got space for it now. And it would also allow me to run it as a server, which could be quite nice to do. If Rifki is gas or not. Never know. Oh, it's further up that way, isn't it? I've just been a wild, stupid goblin then. I think it's vanilla build on this server. But it is breaching charges for raiding. Bother on that island, I can see. Well, then again, that's quite close to shore, isn't it? Like really close to shore. I thought that was further out, I really did. But they've just brought it a little bit closer. Maybe they haven't. Yeah. So I do have a couple of things to move around in the morning on reference to my monitors and things, but we're mostly there. I just can't quite get used to having just two screens. It's very weird. But I'll have to live with it. Don't really have a choice. Give you guys some gamma. Then I don't know how long Nightfall will be on here. Don't think there's any chat. There are keycards and keycard rooms. There is a weapons pack, breaching charges, not really a lot else. Oh, there's bicycles. Hi, Critical. How do I mount a bicycle? No. Go for a ride. How are you? There you are. We've got a bike. I know, it's just so me, isn't it? Yes. Yes. No, didn't want to do that. Let me get back on my bicycle. There we go. Third person in this now. Thank God for that, I suppose. Hi, John. That's all right, mate. Do you like my new bicycle? What do you think? 80 slots. No, this is just a server I'm running on for the evening. I'm not saying we wouldn't have it. Depends how buggy they are. That's the trouble. And I know from the past, if you drive into water, they disappear with all the inventory. And can you imagine the tickets I'd get? I drove through a stream and I've lost everything. Yeah, well, that was stupid, wasn't it? You know how DayZ cars are in the water. Yeah, but I've lost everything. I won't play your server unless you give it all back to me. Right, have you got video proof? No, but I can tell you what it was. I had 25 explosive charges. Yeah, I can just see it now. Yeah. Yeah. But, that being said, I'd quite like to have some mode of transport that was shit. We did have bicycles back along, but I got so many tickets, it didn't carry on happening, basically. That's not to say we won't have them again. I just need to have a little look in and see if there's a shit one that... Obviously, you know my problem. I just don't want tickets all the time, because we know what players are like. You know, I like to have a server that doesn't get tickets. To be perfectly honest, that's my idea of a perfect server. And Chernarus isn't that big. They've got a horse on this server as well. The trouble is, we've got to a point where we don't get that many tickets, and it's quite nice. But because I'm a streamer, if I'm getting lots of tickets, then it's really difficult to stream. No, don't want to take the bike. I want to use the bike. Come on. Oh, where is it? Where have I got to look at? Get in. There we go. See? This is what would happen. No, nobody wanted it. Yeah, I did. It stayed up for a few days and nobody even inquired, so there's no point. No, don't want to do that. I want to get in the bike. In the bike. I know the wheel's broken, but that doesn't mean it can't be driven. Okay, forget that bike. Now do you see the bike problem? Drink a can of Coke. Hello, Mr. Zombie. We'll eat that. I like the concept of the bike. I just don't like how buggy they are. And that's the same for every vehicle in DayZ, unfortunately. And that could be happening to you as you're getting shot at. That's the trouble. Yeah, but that doesn't stop people opening tickets. That's the trouble, Critical. It's all right saying that, but people will open tickets for anything that they think they might be able to get compensation off. So I do my hardest to eliminate that. Now, next wipe, we're going to allow people unlimited code locks for their bases, but we're going to restrict how big a base can be to get around the problem. And that way I don't have to check people's bases anymore or make them comply. I mean, I did a base check today, and I had to... There's a base out there that's 8 stories high, and I had to go up through every story in admin mode to check that they weren't breaking the rules. It's a ball ache, to be perfectly honest. And I've got better uses of my time. So, unlimited code locks. But we'll make, as I said, the territory smaller. And then that'll get around that problem. I still can't decide between Base Building Plus and DayZ Expansion Build. They both, if we go to Base Building Plus, it has ramifications, but it's so much easier, so much better buildings you guys can build. I can't decide yet. I'm not there yet. Yeah. And of course, then I could see how many code locks there were, but I needed to make sure that they hadn't got like another 4 doors ready to go, if that makes sense, which didn't have code locks on. You know, and once a week I have to go around everyone's bases and check that they're compliant. And it's quick, but what do you do when someone isn't compliant? Well, you take all their doors off and chuck them out, or take all their doors off and tell them they're not compliant. What happens if it's one of us guys that plays on the server a lot? Yeah. I'm not going to ban someone for being non-compliant, but I will take all their code locks off, open up their door and put it in message that this base is open and ready to be raided for non-compliance. But how would one of you guys feel if that was your base? And it's difficult. Running a server isn't easy, especially as you start to add mods. And the new storage mod, if I can make that work perfectly fine, will be massive. Will make a massive difference, because you'll be able to build proper storage for base, and it's got some nice add-ons. I need to move that up a bit because the shadow's falling in the wrong place. There we go, that's a bit better. Can you still hear me all right, guys? Microphone's putting a shadow onto the... I'll take that off. Do I lose the shadow? Yeah, I do. Okay. That's fine. So you'll be able to make like a big wooden shelving unit that you can fit wooden boxes to, that will have your storage in, like weapons and ammo and everything else. But you'll also, the things that it didn't show on there, there's a sewing machine, and you can find needles and thread, and you'll be able to repair clothing back to pristine. Thank you. And then there's a ammo cleaner. So there's a thing that you'll be able to power in your base, and you put your broken, like your damaged ammo inside, and it will return the ammo to pristine. But you'll lose a few rounds. So like you might put 25.56 in, run the machine. It will make a noise, so people will know you're running it if they're nearby. But what it will do is it might leave you with 10 rounds of pristine, so they're less likely to jam. There's obviously a cooker. So if you've got an expansion base that's not on a house, you've actually got a cooker you can put in base. No, not ruined. Not ruined. I'm not allowing people to do ruin repairs. That's something I won't do. The cooker, I like the idea of those. It means in the bases that are not built in houses can have a proper cooker in their base. We're going to have the fridge in game that's available in the files. I'm going to reinitiate that, but probably make it that you upgrade a sea chest to it. What I'm thinking is that if you had a sea chest and then you merge that with an electronic repair kit, that will give you the fridge. Is what my brain is working. It's not perfect, but it would do the job. And it's all it is a sea chest that's retextured to look like a fridge, but might be quite nice. Annoying. This is a military one. Oh, it's a general. Okay. I have no judgment from you guys. DayZ, clothing's clothing. I know, if only it worked. You can tell this is vanilla plus plus, can't you? Oh, it's a French server. Come on, son. We need to come up. So we'll probably stay with expansion, but there's no guarantee yet. I'm still expansion base build. I'm still chewing it over. I've got an item I need to test on my experimental server because that might work better for what we want, but I'm not sure yet if that makes sense. And I won't. But I know for sure I won't talk about it too much. It's a different base building that's just come out, but we know expansion works. That's the thing. It's easy. Yes. They're gonna be different next wipe, probably worse in all honesty. How long have you been playing DayZ? Oh, critical. So we're probably going to have... This is a probably. It's not a guaranteed yet, but we're probably going to have next wipe normal days, but summer, with very cold nights. Probably. So we get the best of both worlds, and then I can have long grass in and things like that. Because I want to do a long grass build on normal. You put a lot of hours in, John, though, don't you? You do put a lot of hours in. And I'm en route. I go up about 1,000 hours a year. About 1,000 hours a year I go up. Probably a bit more now. Probably about 1,200 hours a year now. That works. I don't really want to go into this town. Scout around the outside. We're actually making our way down to the bottom corner past Balota, so we can gear up there and then push north. Well, that's the aim. But that's good, John. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I really am. But the server's becoming, it's become more popular. That's for sure. We have picked up new members that are playing on a regular basis. Next wipe will become more popular again, because at least during the day people aren't going to need fires every 10 minutes. Honestly, I haven't got an addiction. Twitch. Yeah. Well, tell me about it. Oh, yes. We have the ability of catching fishies. But I wanted it to be hard, if that makes sense. It means that when you get something nice, or you accomplish something, you really have accomplished something. Now, this is a vanilla plus plus server. I don't like vanilla plus plus. I quite like vanilla minus minus. Or full on. For me, I either want to play a hard server that's hard because of the server conditions, or I want to play a hard server that's hard for PvP. And that was the whole idea of it, John, to give a playground for people and myself. But I can't really spend the time on there when I know now where all the bases are. Does that make sense? It's really difficult. So take away the code lock rule and I don't need to check people's bases anymore. So then if I find a base, it's a legitimate raid for me. And if you can play GoblinZ, you can play any server out there. So any vanilla server. Because GoblinZ harder than vanilla. The only trouble is, obviously, you're used to being able to rip up clothes with your hands. Nowhere else does that, really. But I hope the players that play our server enjoy the challenge we give them. There's a well here. Not there, but here. Yeah, they do. You're not going to get them with mine, though. You know that. I was so frustrated and intimidated at first. I started running a local server just so I could learn. Yeah, I get that. And that's quite nice, being able to run a local server on PC and use it as a way of learning the basics. You can also run them local with mods, just so you know, guys. It's not that difficult. If you ever want to test a mod or put a mod pack on or have a play with something different. Like if you want to learn to fly helicopters, if you're going to play like a high-on server that's got helis on it, you can just start a local server and add the heli mod to it and spawn in a helicopter using God mode and then practice flying. And then you've got nobody else shooting at you while you do it. John, I'll send you over instructions. It's so easy to set up a local server that no one else can access, and to put mods on it, like really easy, and no one else has access to it. It's just you on the server. But you can put mods on. You can have a play. You can you can stick expansion on, and you could practice base building. So you could choose your next base location for the GoblinZ without actually having to do it on GoblinZ and practice a build. So, Cookie and I, before a wipe, will often jump onto a private server and practice base building where we're going to build. Even though nowhere has Aftermath base building apart from Aftermath, the size of the room is still the same size as, say, expansion. So it allows us to practice putting blocks of expansion stuff down to work out whether the build would work. The sun's coming up. Cockerels are making noises. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Right, we're sort of heading for the beach. Once the sun comes up, well, we'll try and catch a fish, and then when the sun comes up, we'll get it cooked and warm up. Yeah, I hope not. I know you do. I know you're joking. I get that. Luckily, next wipe, there won't be a trader. It's just giving you something different to do. I like the loot crates. I don't particularly like survivor missions or treasure. I know other people do. Don't want that. I want a normal run-of-the-mill bush. Long stick? Long stick. Good. Right, let's make some gloves. The loot crates are more me. There's probably going to be a different... Well, no, that's not fair. The loot crates we've got now, we will have next wipe. But I'll also be adding to them a different loot crate that spawns in on a contaminated zone. We like sense of humours. They're good. And it will just be like it's a sea chest that spawns in a contaminated zone when it drops on a town. And it chooses different places within there randomly. We're also going to allow people only 2 bases next wipe. With the idea being that 2 flags, so if they want to move base they can do, but no multiple bases. It'll be a lot harder when we don't have a trader. Just because you're going to have to find every item and get it home. I mean, not a lot of people use trader anyway, but it will change the dynamics of it, which is good. And there'll be more of a reason to raid people to get supplies that you need. Especially, and also because we're running the prize, aren't we, next wipe? Whoever's got the best base voted for by the community on the last day of wipe. No, this is 1.26 with extras. So it'll be in people's interest to raid other people so they don't win the prize. That's how I'm seeing it. Is it will encourage raiding to try and win. Evil Goblin, yeah? A core Goblin. Yes. Is why another reason for me putting all the extra items in, so people can then build their base and put stuff in and make rooms. So I think that might be a really interesting concept. As I said, I'll just go around and I'll record everyone's. When I stop the server for wipe, one of the things I'll do is record everyone's bases, put the video up, and get people to vote without knowing who they're voting for. And then the winning votes, I won't take part, but the one that gets the most votes will win a Steam gift card. Which I think is a fair way of doing it. And then we'll do the same every wipe. We'll have some sort of competition with a gift card. And that'll be advertised for people joining the server. You know, if you join the server and you want to come and play on, join the Discord. Whoever's got the best base at the end of wipe wins a £10 or equivalent Steam voucher. You know, it's not a massive amount, but it's something, if you play DayZ anyway, that you might want to put towards a game. And it's not like, you know, it's only every few months that we have a wipe. You know, every 12 weeks giving away a tenner or 20 quid's worth of Steam voucher is not a problem. But it might encourage people to build some elaborate bases and build kitchens and armories and the rest of it, which might be quite nice. We really need a rucksack. That's what we need. Take a hoodie. take them because they're pristine. Aha. That's okay. Because they're dry, basically. Airdrop at Berezino. Obviously, it's a French server, so everything's in French. It's not like I'm going to come back here again. We know that. Oh, yes. I'll take them. A little pair of cheeky working gloves. Throw that away, actually. Because the nights weren't dark enough to justify it, were they? Thank you. There you are. Gamma off. Don't need to cook the fish yet, so I'd like to find a knife. We've only got the stone knife. The only reason we had two is I found one on the floor, so a freshie had died there, but the knife had survived. How's my Xmas PC doing? My Xmas PC upgrades. So, my 64 gigs of RAM, I notice no difference, apart from when I'm editing 4K content, and then it saves about an hour off a recompile of a video. So it's massive. And the monitor arm, oh, it's just amazing. And my fans, I love them. Love them to bits. Certainly getting cooler temps in my system. I've saved about 10 degrees on average. Can't believe I just left. Fucking saw. All I want is a knife. Come on, DayZ, give me a knife. Or a stone. Stone will do. Right, let's push on because we're quite all right on food, and where we're heading for might have military knives. We'll just take the meat tenderizer so we can bash zombies over the head and save our good knife for other shit. So we're running up here looking for a stone. Let's be honest about this. push around this and then slide in past those apartment blocks. I don't want to hit Batola. Yeah. I thought I might beat my meat. Get in there. Yeah. Not. Still trying to work out whether I can live without a third monitor. Probably not, but it's surviving at the moment, so just about. I've managed to get the whole of OBS up on the screen, plus live chat from YouTube, plus a very small bit of Discord. So it just about works. Yeah, I should get a rucksack out of the military where we're going to. There are keys on here and key cards. Just got to find the bloody things. And it will all be written in... no, it shouldn't be written in French. No, it will be written in French, and I don't know what... my French knowledge is limited. So, I'll be like guessing the words if we find a key. Probably going to add some more crates in for next wipe, guys, for GoblinZ. Now we've got, as long as I've got to test that new storage mod, and as long as that works, then some of those items will have spawning in crates rather than on the ground. What I don't want is you running into a house and finding a collapsed box. It doesn't feel survival. But opening up a box, opening up a crate, and finding something that's too large to carry home does. We could put stone knife on. Oh, no. Okay. I thought we could put stone knife on there. Push past the church and then down. Should bring us to the railway station. We need another bicycle, that's what we need. But I'll take ammo. One of the better churches to build in. So you've only got the little door to worry about covering, because that's already done. If you're on expansion, you just build a wall and an angle across here. Which is why I'm looking at base building plus, because obviously then we don't have to worry about that. We can just build doors. But then we'd have to add a lot more in, like code locks and breaching charges. On a plus side, the breaching charges are in component parts, so it makes more collecting. And the code locks would work with stuff inside camp. I could have lockers then for you to lock. but then I'd have to bring some way of raiding those lockers in. So it really depends. I'll make a decision closer to the time on that. I like the idea of you guys having lockers and locking them. And when somebody raids you, they've got a raid driver. So they blow the door and then use a screwdriver to unlock one of your containers, steal everything and the container as well. I quite like that idea. It feels a bit more real. Especially when... Oh, there we go. That bloody thing. Lack of zombies around, isn't there? They seem to have forgotten about zombies. No, I did look at the mod today. I had a good look at the mod today, in all honesty. We won't be having DayZ Dog, to be honest. I did have a look. I had a look at the back end of it. But you are getting... You're getting something else. It's not going to replace DayZ Dog. Yeah, you're not having DayZ Dog. But you might get Evil Chicken. Which basically means you can search chicken coops for eggs, which you can eat. But randomly, a cockerel will appear that will try and kill you. But you can kill the cockerel then for meat. You can, and I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and then I looked through some of the people running it, spoke to a couple of people, and they were like, oh no, there is a DayZ cat, you just can't, they just run around, you have them as pets, they just drink resources on the server. It's an awful mod for servers, just, yeah. Because they don't do anything apart from look at you and purr. Which is nice if you've got all the resources to run it and you're running a roleplay server. So yeah, I spoke to some of the people running it and they said the amount of tickets they get from DayZ Dog is out of this world. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. I can see lots of my dog ran off, I can't get my dog back. And me having to spend a lot of time in the logs going, no, you got killed. And that means your dog deleted itself. You need to get a new dog. Yeah, but I want my dog. And it's difficult. It's really difficult. I don't like putting myself in a position where we end up with tickets for no apparent reason. And I've run DayZ Dog before on servers. And then you got all the add-ons, because people all want then the armour for it. Well, that's another massive mod, just to get the armour and all the different camouflage patterns. And then the dog can carry stuff for you. So then what happens? People have a dog they're actually using as a pack mule, so they can carry more loot. So it suddenly becomes less survival and more put all the heavy items on the dog. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So no. I would be more likely to put DayZ Bicycle on than DayZ Dog. And we saw what happened with DayZ Bicycle. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the sub. Massively appreciated. We don't want a fishing rod, we just don't have the storage. And we can make one from our belt. So down to the military down the bottom here. See if we can get a rucksack out of it. And then push up the map aiming for Bishkino and the railway station to get geared. And then move for the airfield. Where's my remote control for the aircon? It's getting warm in here. There we go. That sounded so posh, didn't it? Where's my remote control for the aircon? It's the middle of winter and I'm turning aircon on. Don't want to go to Bolota. It's a lot of hassle for an MP5. So obviously in the UK we don't have aircon. It just doesn't happen. But the room I rent does have fixed into the wall proper full-on US style aircon with but it does heat as well, so in winter I can always put it on warm, not that I ever need to. And I have a remote control with it as well, but it does work really well to reduce the room. In summer it's amazing because my windows face out onto quite a busy main road, so I can't really open the windows in the summer because I just place filled with dust. Fair to say they've doctored how much food and water you don't need on here, haven't they? Not like we're desperate. So I've sort of got my head round that every Saturday evening we'll run a different DayZ server until Kingdom Come comes out and Atomfall, and then I'll do those on Saturdays. Or I might do those as recorded content. And just do the different DayZ server on a Saturday night. Something that I'm not invested in. Dive on, have a run. That's sort of the aim at the moment, which subject to change, as you know, with everything I do. No auto run on here. Right, we need to eat. Luckily, there's a house right here. So they don't, because, well, from my perspective, they don't. It just stores straight onto the YouTube server. Oh, don't want to use the knife up for that. Don't be so stupid, Goblin. So that doesn't matter. When I record content, it uses a bit more. But what I tend to do is record it and then put it straight online. Like, record it, upload it, and then store it on YouTube. And as soon as I've edited it, yes. You little star. But also I record at a lesser quality and then let YouTube upscale it a little bit. So it's still it's still done as 4K. But what happens is, if I put that knife, you mad, stupid goblin. There you go. But you get different standards of 4K. So what you can do is you can save 4K content that then... Sorry about this, I'm thinking and talking and chatting. Yeah, you save 4K content that uses less bandwidth or less K. You upload it and then YouTube knows to re-encode it into better 4K content. So it's a really simple way of... But that's the driver on an NVIDIA graphics card that does that. So for me, it's worth having the NVIDIA card. If I saved as like MP4 4K, I'd need extra hard disks all the time, which I'm not going to do. But it does drink bandwidth. But I've got space. I mean, I've got a small 100 gig M.2, and then I've got two 1 terabyte drives. One of them's for YouTube content, and one of them's for games, basically. I'd like to replace my little 120 or my 100 meg M.2 with a better one, but I can't warrant it at the moment. I don't need to spend that money, so I won't. Which is why I'm sort of going to make myself live with only having 2 monitors, because I can't warrant the cost at the moment. And pleasure. Something like that. The other reason for running these other servers to see if people have got anything that I could use on GoblinZ that works. And a good way of doing that is to run on a server and see if anything works better than you do it. Yeah, don't need to, want to. Going to a 4070 Super Ti for me was the best move I ever made. That being said, before it I had a 3080 that would do 4K. But it would do 4K DayZ. It wouldn't do 4K in newer games very well. So I wanted it to be able to do 4K in other games as well. But a lot of my PCs, let's be honest, I'm single, I don't have any kids. My hobby is gaming. Yeah, my graphics card was £850. It's not the cheapest of things. I mean, my PC setup is probably worth 4.5. Ish. I have a nice gaming chair as well. Like, no, so I'm afraid I'm not a gaming chair. I have a Noble chair that supports my back, and that wasn't cheap. I have 3 desks. I have a state-of-the-art cooling system in the PC. You know, I have a 4K monitor. It all soon adds up. You know, 64 gigs of RAM. Ryzen's AM5, Ryzen 7 setup with a better motherboard than stock. You know, rather than a sort of a 120 pound motherboard, it's a 280 pound motherboard. It's been a hell of an investment. You know, I've got an expensive boom arm, expensive mic, expensive headset. My secondary screen is a Samsung. Oh, it's massively worth it because it's my hobby. It's what I enjoy. You know, I didn't 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I had a cheap PC, and I went out drinking every weekend and clubbing, partying all the time. I enjoyed it. great. But as I grew older, I grew out of that. So instead, I'm sat here with a can of strawberry and lime cider. And I game. Oh, massively. You know, if you think that, you know, DayZ cost me 30 quid, £30, 39.99 probably. And I'm pushing just shy of 6,000 hours in. It's a hell of a return. You know, I'm starting now to earn money on YouTube. So that's starting to happen. First payout will hit next week. That means the server is starting to get covered now. I'm starting to put money now aside for 2026 for the GoblinZ server. And once I've got the money aside for 2026, then I'll look at maybe having a second server. I'd like to have 2 servers. I'd like, not as big, so we've got a 30 slotter on the main. It would be nice to have maybe a secondary 5 slot server that I can use for practicing builds on, basically. So now, rather than having to do everything on a standalone, which is doable but not quick, I could have a second server that I'd got set up ready to go, and I could be practicing on that. And then once that was 100% right, I could just copy the files across, which would make long term make a lot of sense. It would speed up wipes. Yeah, it would make us more professional with the server. And I'd also like to be in a position that one day this becomes, my server becomes, rather than a 30 slot server, becomes a 60 slot server. Yeah. With sort of 50 people playing it. That's where I'd love to be. I'd also, I mean, when Mum goes and I buy a place, I sort of know the town I'm going to buy in, and I know the speed of the internet I can have there up and down. I fully intend to have a server rack in the house, and I won't be renting a server anymore at that point. I'll actually have our own server, so GoblinZ will be hosted by me. And then we'll have other servers as well, other games. So like Subsistence that I was running earlier, we'll have a Subsistence server. We'll probably have a Scum server. So it'll be survival games, but we'll have we'll have like a group of survival game servers that we host that people can play. What would be really nice is to have something like have the DayZ server as the main, and the people that are part of the Discord get access to a password that gets them into a second server that they can play. So it's like or maybe link it to memberships, you know? People that pay for a membership on YouTube get access to it or something, you know, just having something that I can offer though that's not really allowed that way. But certainly having the Discord, having a whitelist, so if you're in the Discord you have access to a server, because that way when people play GoblinZ they then get access to the other servers if they join the Discord, which would be quite nice. But certainly I'd like to offer a scum server, I'd like to offer a subsistence server, I'd like to have a test server. Yeah, the trouble with linking it to memberships is BI say you can't make a profit from monetizing a server. So, but what you could do is members could have their own private bit of the Discord, and in there could be passwords for servers if they choose to use them. It's how you word it. It's how you deal with it. Yeah. The other thing I'll be doing is for all of the content that I produce. Originally the Stalker 2 content was done as members only, but I haven't had time to carry on doing it. So, but what I can instead do is I can upload content and make it subscribers only, and that's what I think I'll do, is have subscriber only content. So then anyone can find it on a YouTube searching, but they can't watch it unless they hit the subscribe button, basically. And I think that might work for me quite well. We'll need a fire soon, won't we? How long have we run for? An hour and 30 to get from vet to here, or an hour and 28, roughly. About right. Bit wet this server though, isn't it? Little bit wet. Alright, see if we can get some gun upgrades, shall we? Hi Tin Man, good evening all, big plans I hear. Toppers, looking forward to that. Tappers, yeah, you're certainly going to get tappers, but they'll be hidden far into the loot crest system when we get there on the next wipe. There'll be a mixture of 50 cows, 338s, and the Russian 12.7 times whatever it is. Hell yeah. There's a horse symbol ready for later. You know, this rucksack's the most overpowered rucksack in the game. I killed him. It's bulletproof. Ah! So far. That's right, so far. Gas going into the hospital. We'll have less water on GoblinZ next wipe. It won't be raining like this. It will rain, just not quite as bad as this. We'll still. What I'm playing with is this. Well, as I've said, long hot days, not boiling, but long hot days and freezing cold nights. Like warm summertime days with Arctic nights, sort of, is what I'm thinking. Best of both worlds, with tall grass and a summer mix onto the server. Lot more loot, a lot more nice items to get for your bases set up. Better weapons. More weapons to collect. Weapon racks, potentially. No, it won't snow. I can't do both. So the weather conditions won't allow me to have rain, sun and snow. One or the other. Have you tried Down Bad yet, John? As Goblin and Cookie suggested to practice PvP. The thing is, once we get a summer build on GoblinZ, we might pick up more numbers, guys. Let's be honest, when people haven't got to light fires every 10 minutes, people might start joining. And then if we have long days, by the time it gets to night time, they'll have a fire, because they don't want to lose their loot. There is method in my madness. That zombie's not for me. Shot. We're only going to do it up to the restart, guys, which is in 10 minutes, and then I'll be finishing for the night. But I will be on tomorrow, not on here, but I'll pick a different server we'll run tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, Aftermath with Cookie. I think someone's getting raided. That's okay, John. I enjoy doing them. Nothing like, if you can find raiders, such a good opportunity to shoot people. Thank you, John. We might have to come in after the restart. We might be forced. Yes, you can. There's not a lot of them around, as you've learned. down there, I think. Might be that house over there. This place. Well, we tried. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. We gave it a go. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Remember, if you've got a goblin in your sights, miss.